This missionary plane rescue is like no other in aviation history. Wait until you hear it. On a mission to bring hope to a remote Alaskan village, 7 missionaries, led by pilot Dave Cochran, had just unloaded 3,000 pounds of food, 1,000 pounds of medicine, and 500 Bibles in Russia's Far East. Among them was 23-year-old Brian Brasher, a teacher and sound engineer who would soon witness a miracle few could believe. As they climbed aboard their bush plane for the return flight, everything changed. Shortly after takeoff, one engine sputtered and died. Cochran declared an emergency after the second engine quit. "I tried to keep it at 130 miles per hour glide speed," he later recalled. "I could see we weren't going to make it to land." For a harrowing minute, the plane plummeted 3,500 feet toward the icy Bering Sea. In that terrifying fall, the team joined in what Cochran called an informal prayer meeting. Then came the impact. The fuselage struck the water at 90 miles per hour, the crash waves smashing against the windshield. Amazingly, no one was killed, though the cabin began filling fast and the plane would sink within minutes. To their horror, there were no life vests on board. "Everybody out! Hang on to the gas cans!" Captain Cochran shouted. They would serve as their only flotation devices. Clutching fuel cans at 41 degrees Fahrenheit water, the group bobbed in 3 to 5 foot swells. At such temperatures, a person can become disoriented within 5 minutes and lose consciousness within 30. Brian Brasher cried out scripture at the top of his lungs. "God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble." Psalm 46 verse 1. "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." Though he knew this was not really the appropriate moment for that psalm. Psalm 118 verse 24. As hope seemed to fade, God's providence made its move. Unbeknownst to them, Bering air pilot Terry Day was running 1 hour late on his own scheduled flight. Glancing down through the fog, he spotted a curious splash. At first, he thought it might be wildlife. Then, air traffic control informed him of a downed plane in the area. Day radioed back, "There's people in the water and some wreckage." Quickly, he turned his aircraft into a search pattern. Moments later, he called in the survivors' coordinates to the Coast Guard. Within minutes, helicopters descended through the gale force winds, winching each missionary, soaked, freezing, but very much alive, to safety. No life vest, no guarantee of survival, only a few floating gas cans and a chorus of scripture. Yet, every one of them walked away from the crash thanks to, number one, their faith, praying aloud and declaring God's promises as the plane fell. Number two, divine timing, a rescue pilot arriving at the exact moment he was delayed. Number three, Providence Coast Guard, helicopters guided by that late pilot's keen eyes. When you find yourself in life's darkest seas, remember, declare his word, trust his timing, and watch how he rescues you, sometimes from the most impossible places. If this story uplifted you, comment "This is the day" and share it to encourage someone facing their own storm. Subscribe for more incredible true stories of God's power, timing, and rescue.